Being skinned alive. Being burned alive. I saw a guy that was playing with gasoline get burned alive. The smell and sounds that he made were something I will never forget. Luckily it only lasted him a few minutes before he passed out. But the next 10 years and hundreds of surgeries were terrible. He said many times we should have let him die. Separating you from all the living things, and putting you into a confined room, with a giant mirror, and the lights on full brightness 24/7. Locked-in syndrome. Being the middle piece in the human centipede. I think that having a child disappear, and never knowing what happened is likely the worst thing in the world. Holding out hope. Never knowing when it is appropriate to stop looking. Even when your despair seems too much to bear for even one more day, you know that killing yourself would end any possibility of being reunited. Edit, definitely the post with the most despair quotient that I have received gold for, but thank you. Fatal familial insomnia, https://www. BBC. com/future/article/20160118 The tragic fate of the people who stop sleeping. Having to deal with the pain of radiation for a long period of time. Hisashi Aoki, yes, that's his last name, is an example of this. He had to deal with the pain after being exposed to a fatal dose of radiation after a nuclear power plant accident. He was kept alive for 83 days after the accident. God, I can't imagine the pain he had to endure. Torture or slavery for about 80 years. Locked in a room and forced to watch The View. At high volume. All day. Every day. Being forced to live in a vegetative state on life support, because your friends/family won't let you go. Being the child in a child sex trafficking situation. Being paralyzed and blind for your whole life. Being in an infinite death loop, and no way of escaping. Locked-in syndrome. You're conscious, but unable to move or communicate with the outside world. That seems like it would really suck. Wishing to die but not being allowed to. Edit, wow, I did not expect this wave of responses. Thanks for the love and support, guys, I truly appreciate it, smiley face. Just to clarify, I'm going pretty well at this point in my life. The reason why I said this is because this was something that I had been going through quite badly some time ago, and I know that we felt this urge in some shape or form. As much as I wanted to end things when it got too much. I knew deep in my heart that I would hurt too many people in my life, and that it's not my time to go just yet. Right now, my mindset is stable, and I have an amazing girlfriend who's my biggest support pillar, and my best friend. My heart goes out to all of you who have, or are feeling this sensation right now. Trust me when I say this, the bad times shall come but they are not here to last. Reach out to those you trust if you can and ride it through to the end. Everything leading up to dying in the ICU. Families of 85-plus-year-olds with multiple comorbidities force us to keep doing everything to keep people alive far beyond any chance of recovering with any quality of life or dignity. Ever done CPR on a frail old body that weighs 95 pounds? The feeling of the cartilage and ribs crushing under your hands is something we never forget. After a few rounds of compressions, you can see a very obvious cavity in the chest that we have smashed into oblivion. And all for what? So the person can die in misery? Often, these people have written do not resuscitate and do not intubate requests, but the family can override these once the patient is unable to participate in the conversation. Then we get people 85+ years old with catastrophic strokes. Family decides to do everything, so the patient ends up with a trach, hole in the neck, on a ventilator, breathing machine, a PEG tube in the stomach for liquid tube feeding, and resigned to bed rest for the remaining miserable months of their life. They will probably ultimately die of a steady, but slow weight loss, horrible infected wounds from prolonged immobility. I have seen bed sores down to the bone, and large enough to fit my fist into, or infection, like pneumonia. All for what? Then you get the younger ones, but the ones who are far past any sense of recovery. Some of the worst to watch are people with liver failure from alcohol abuse. They go through severe and difficult to manage alcohol withdrawal, in which they are confused, combative, and hallucinating. They are often sedated to the best of our ability, and restrained for their own safety. Then come the bleeding problems associated with liver failure. I've seen someone go from talking to me, and laughing to dying by vomiting all of the blood from their body due to esophageal varices, bleeding arteries in the throat/stomach. It looked like a murder scene, and the patient was awake, and aware she was dying as she bled out in front of us. So if you talk to anybody who works in critical care, they will often have many examples of things worse than death. We essentially torture people every day. We see that slow, inevitable spiral down. We try our best to be realistic with patients and families, but it often doesn't work. Read up on Junko Furuta. Seeing everyone close to you die. It makes you wish you died with them. True immortality, hear me out. If you were truly immortal, that is, you could never die under any circumstances, you'd outlive everyone. Even if you got close to someone, they'd be dead in what, to you, would feel like the blink of an eye. Given enough time, I think this has a good, if not 100% chance of driving you insane. Eventually, you'd outlive the human species. When humans went extinct, you'd have no one to talk to, forever. Now you would certainly go insane. Oh, and the worst part is still ahead. In trillions and trillions of years, the universe's stars will all have exhausted their supply of nuclear fuel, and the universe will reach heat death. Now there is nothing but you on a cold, inert, dead sphere. Now you get to endure this for all eternity. Sorry for the abject depression.